will, the bustling markets of 16th century England, the clamor of voices haggling over prices, the bleating of sheep, the aroma of fresh produce filling the air. These open markets were the lifeblood of trade in England and Wales for centuries. But as we step into the late 1500s and early 1600s, a quiet revolution is brewing, one that would forever change the face of commerce in this green and pleasant land. This is the story of the rise of private trading, a transformation that would shake the very foundations of business in early modern England. As the population grew and the economy expanded, the traditional network of markets began to show its age. Despite attempts at specialization and concentration, these age old institutions struggled to keep up with the demands of a rapidly evolving society. Public markets became inadequate and overly controlled. The old ways were no longer enough, and change was on the horizon. Enter the pioneers of private trading, a new breed of merchant, as cunning as they were controversial. These men, for they were almost always men, saw an opportunity in the cracks of the old system. They were the substantial traveling merchants, the peddlers, the salesmen. They were the risk takers, the rule breakers, the ones who dared to imagine a different way of doing business. Instead of waiting for farmers to bring the goods to market, these traders displayed remarkable resourcefulness. They ventured out into the countryside, knocking on kitchen doors of farms, ready to strike deals directly with producers. There was a blurring of lines between fair going merchants and those purchasing directly from producers. Wheat, barley, sheep, wool, poultry, rabbit skins, and sheepskins, nothing was off limits for these ambitious traders. But their innovation didn't stop there. Why limit yourself to a single market day when you can turn every day into an opportunity for trade? These merchants began to hold court in inns, transforming these humble establishments into impromptu marketplaces. The inn, once a simple place of rest for weary travelers, was now becoming a hub of commerce, the first step in its long journey to becoming a substitute for the traditional market. These traders were nothing if not versatile. They roamed county to county, making deals with shopkeepers, peddlers, and wholesalers. They acted as wholesalers themselves, or as middlemen of every description. No deal was too small, no journey too far. One day, they might arrange for barley to be shipped to brewers in the Netherlands. Next, they can source rye from the Baltic to supply Bristol. But make no mistake, this was not a business for the faint of heart. The life of a private trader was one of constant motion, of long days on dusty roads or choppy seas. 16th century Swiss merchant Andreas Riff remarked, I have had so little rest that the saddle has hardly stopped burning my hind parts. It was a life of risk, where fortunes could be made or lost on a single deal. Sometimes two or three traders would join forces, sharing the risks and rewards of their ventures. Yet, for all the hardships, there was a certain romance to this new way of doing business. Imagine, if you will, a trader driving his pack horses across the length and breadth of England, from the rugged hills of Scotland to the windswept coast of Cornwall. At every inn along the way, he would find friends or fellow traders, a brotherhood forged in the crucible of this new economy. Private trading was widespread, not just in England, but across continental Europe. Traveling salesmen in Paris selling in hostels instead of public markets. Millers, bakers, and butchers found ways to obtain goods at lower costs. Retailers in Evreux, Normandy, made secretive deals as early as 1385. Buyers intercepted peasants before they reached the market. In Carpentras, women vegetable sellers bought goods on the roads. But not everyone welcomed this change with open arms. The new traders were often viewed with suspicion and outright hostility. They were seen as cunning interlopers, hard hearted men who cared for nothing but profit. The government, says a 1764 British diplomatic report, ought at least to have some care for the murmurs excited among the people by the excessive cost of food. All the more because such murmurs arise from an abuse which may justly be imputed to those who govern. For the principal cause of the high cost of food is the greed of monopolists, of whom there is a multitude in the capital. They have recently contrived to anticipate the market by going down the highways in search of the countryman and relieving him of the goods he is bringing, to sell them at any price they please. One of the most contentious aspects of private trading was the use of written contracts. These simple notes held immense power in a world where many were still illiterate. A farmer's signature or his mark on one of these documents could bind him to a deal he might not fully understand. It was a system ripe for abuse, and it suffered abuse. Court cases of the time are rife with tales of misunderstandings and dramas sparked by this new style of trade. Yet, despite the controversies, private trading continued to grow. It was, in many ways, a reflection of the broader changes sweeping through society. The old markets were still important, but were no longer the only game in town. Private trading opened up new possibilities, new ways of connecting producers with consumers, and new ways of moving goods across the country and beyond. This shift in trade had far reaching consequences. It changed not just how business was done, but who could do business. It created new opportunities for those with the wit and will to seize them. It connected different parts of the country in ways that never been possible. And it laid the groundwork for the complex, interconnected economy that would emerge in the following centuries. The rise of private trading was not without its downsides. It disrupted traditional ways of life, created new inequalities, and sometimes led to exploitation. But it also brought dynamism and flexibility to an economy that needed it. It was, in short, a crucial step from a medieval agrarian society to the modern age. As we look back on this period from our vantage point in the 21st century, we can see the rise of private trading as part of a much larger story. How Europe, and eventually the world, transitioned into the modern era. It's a reminder that economic systems are not fixed or inevitable, but are shaped by ordinary people's needs, aspirations, and innovations.